There are plenty of distinguished women associated with our history, but doggone it, every once in a while you want to talk about the ones that are maybe not quite so savory, even if they were just passing through. One of them was a teenage prostitute in Oakland named Maud Meredith, and she was first discovered in police court in January 1888, and I think the reporter was a little smitten with her. I mean, why else would he write that the dimples which danced about her mouth might have been the marks of Cupid's kisses? Yeah, that's yucky, a little overblown, and a little bit salacious. She'd gotten that way thanks to a classic evil stepfather. She ran away from home and took up the street life. Then it was discovered that she had inherited a fortune in real estate in San Diego, and her stepfather had the audacity to fight her for the inheritance. I am happy to say that she won. Todd was taken in by a policeman and his wife, and then placed with her grandmother. When her grandmother came south to visit San Luis Obispo, Maud disappeared. It was said she was headed for Arroyo Grande, and she was found cultivating a bean field south of Arroyo Grande, so they were right. Our town constable, Tom Whiteley, returned her to her grandparents, and nothing else as much is heard about Maud, except I found a 1905 wedding announcement in the Los Angeles Times. So one hopes that in the end, everything turned out okay for the runaway heiress. I did not know there was a Lompoc Opera House. Well, there was in 1912. And the impresario's daughter, Eleanor, was a kind of a prodigy with the violin. Here she's dazzling a crowd with a rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner for Theodore Roosevelt's 1912 campaign. Walling Orchestra played ragtime. They moved to Sycamore Springs, but they appeared a couple of times in Arroyo Grande, once to celebrate streetlights and another time to accompany the Arroyo Grande Union High School drama department. It's said that Eleanor was pursuing a career in vaudeville. Well, that's not where she turned up. She turned up in this bank in Taft, just over the county line, firing a pistol into the ceiling. She and her male compatriots robbed the bank of $5,700, about $80,000 today. Eleanor charmed her jailers in Bakersfield by playing her violin. She hoped, by turning state's evidence, to get a light sentence or to get a suspended sentence. She was, after all, just an impressionable young girl. Wasn't the case. She went to San Quentin. I did not know women went to San Quentin. They did. Her cellmate was Clara Phillips, known as Clara the Hammer. She suspected that her husband was having an affair, so she did what any woman would do in that situation. She went to the hardware store. A clerk approached her. She was hefting a hammer, and Clara asked him, "Do you think this would be heavy enough to kill a woman?" The clerk paused. "Well, yeah, yes, ma'am, I guess it would be." And he was right, of course. Despite the drab grayness, the oppressive surroundings of San Quentin, the bobbed hair bandit and Clara the Hammer made the most of their time. In fact, Eleanor finally, in a way, got to go to vaudeville. The women put on a vaudeville show. Clara Phillips, Hammer Slayer, danced and tooted a saxophone. And, of course, Eleanor must have played her violin. Eleanor had been called the bobbed hair bandit for her 1920s hairstyle. She was paroled and was thought to have reemerged as a robber in 1932. She and another woman, both dressed in men's clothes the same way Eleanor had been dressed in Taft, robbed some drugstores in the Bay Area. The police, though, could not pin it on Eleanor. The last I can find out about her was from the 1940 census. She's living in San Francisco, and her occupation, musician. 101 was 2 lanes. There it is, running right through town in 1926, which was the year that Amy Semple McPherson died. She was a radio evangelist. It's her Foursquare Gospel Church in L.A., and she was a gifted actress. She was a natural actress, but she got some tips from Charlie Chaplin. And then she died. Here they are, combing the surf line for Amy's body. She broke hearts because she was an enormously popular and charismatic preacher. It looked too bad after her drowning when she and a male companion checked into this hotel in San Luis Obispo. So they would have driven to San Luis, gone through Arroyo Grande. They were headed north after their hotel stay to what the newspapers called a Carmel love nest. The problem was a clerk recognized her. She was very much undead. In fact, she was headed for that love nest. Just damaged Amy's career. She claimed she'd been kidnapped and held hostage in Mexico, which was balderdash. She had been breaking a commandment or two. Despite that, she was still popular when she sadly overdosed in 1944. 11 truckloads of flowers worth $50,000. That's $850,000 in today's currency.